This meeting is being...
Sweet. And we are live. Welcome, everybody. It is the end of year 2023 wrap-up / projection of 2024 AMA / roundtable. Got a big cast and crew today. And we will just talk about, sorry, as I connect here. We will talk about everything related to, what we did in 2023, kind of wrap things up on that front. And then we will kind of go into some Q&A, also talk about obviously what's coming in 2024. I think all of us are pretty excited about what we're doing with, AI and a lot of other developments. So I'm definitely excited. And we've got a big speaker panel here. So we got John, Eric, Scaredycat, Mitch, Taskmaster, and then Nifty is on Spaces, but I think he's driving, so he can't be on the Zoom. And Taskmaster and Mitch, I invited you guys to speak on Spaces. So whenever you get that, just accept it. And then I think we're all good.
Is there a threadcast?
Yeah,
there is a threadcast.
Yes.
Not that I
We
can
actually
read it.
have some numbers, and then we're going to share a little bit of the goals of 2024 as well. John,
It's
how
fun
are you,
when you've
man?
got 17 different streams to get rolling.
I'm good, man. I'm
What's
good.
up, Nifty?
Living the dream, man. Excited, pumped up for 2024.
I see Mitch's lips moving, but I don't hear him.
Taskmaster, you gotta. So, we said this before you jumped into Zoom. Mute the Taskmaster. Mute the Zoom like output audio, so you can't hear from Zoom, and then just do the Spaces audio and speaker.
How do I mute
So we'll
the
just talk to
Zoom?
each other through Spaces.
How do we mute Zoom? Just
Sweet. So we got, okay, everybody's in the speaker. I think we're good. Eric, is your audio good on Spaces?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, cool. Now I can hear you, yeah. Sweet, I think we're good. Threadcast link is being sent out as we speak. It is live. Let's see here. So I think to kick things off, let's I kind of want to hear from you guys first before I obviously give my take, but let's just start with John. John, what did you think of 2023 in general for INLEO and what's happened this year? What was your overall take on things? And how do you feel about how we kind of ended the year? If you want to just jump into your thoughts.
Dude, I was pumped up. I mean, it was crazy for me, offline and stuff. But overall, I mean, all you got to do is listen to Cryptomaniacs any week with Task and I, and we're, just giddy over everything that's going on.
Wait.
With Leo. So,
is it me or
dude, fired up, man. I mean,
Leo,
this is great. When else space?
I can hear John in the space.
You hear me? Do you hear me?
Yeah, Nifty can hear me. Yeah, I think you're good.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm fired up. I mean, I'm excited, to end the year. I had a personal goal that I wanted to hit, and I hit that, and now it's like, you're killing me with these names of the handles, because you're saying that people are apex lions if they get 150,000 Leo. It's like, dude, that's like this huge carrot stick for me, and I have ego problems where I have to get that as soon as possible. So that's 2024 for me, man. Just give me all the Leo. Let's, and just seeing where this is going, diving into the docs and the white paper and just rereading things. I even got my wife to read it last night. I mean, that's how it's borderline obsession, man. So 2024 is huge coming in for this stuff.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Yeah, I saw you hit your Leo goals in the past kind of month, and definitely exciting to see. Nifty, you wanna jump in, give us your quick take on 2023, how things went in your view?
Three has been a wild ride, full of changes and things that are going to push us forward into the next 5 to 10 years, especially the line working with our rewards and all this good stuff that's coming down the pipeline, all rebranded, opening up the platform to more content than just for sure. And these are things that just so we all just do our part and stay active. And we'll have great speakers on the platform. We're going to see a lot more as we're starting to come on board.
Definitely agree. Yeah, I think a big narrative, obviously, towards the end of this year and then leading into 2024 is going to be more users and more activity in general, more engagement. So definitely. Taskmaster, what's your take on Leo 2023?
It was a series of train wrecks, car wrecks, boat sinkings, and everything else. It was a grind. But, we kept moving forward, kept persevering. I mean, nobody knows that more than you, Cal. You're dealing with the development team and, one step forward, 3 steps back half the time, it seemed. But, that's what happens when you're building and doing new stuff. And especially on the technical side, bugs are just part of the equation. But, we did see a lot of what was discussed over the years start to see the light of day. And I think that's something that's very important for people to understand, that a lot of this stuff was discussed in theory, in plans, on the roadmap, and now it's here. And, we see the ads, we see the ad revenue going into the account. Starting next week, we will see the first payouts of the ads. So, these are things that if people have been paying attention the last couple of years, the roadmap wasn't exactly kept a secret. Yes, the timing changed and there were difficulties and things of that nature, but the roadmap is unfolding in different intervals, but it's unfolding. So people need to plan ahead. People need to start thinking about building and what they're doing in terms of making themselves a business, because Leo is going to provide, in my opinion, it provides a lot of opportunities now. It's going to provide a lot more opportunities in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I think I really like your take on, through your various podcasts and posts and threads, talking about how people should look at their activity, not only on INLEO, but on Hive in general as being a personal business. I've kind of always approached it that way. Even back when I was just doing kind of content creation only on, the legacy chain before, obviously before Leo. I always approached it as having like this account that's a business, and, you have a following, and those are kind of like your customers, and you kind of give them what they want. And you kind of service them and engage with them, and those are your followers and your fans, and then you build from there. You build a following, you build a trail of people who support you and all that stuff. So I think a big narrative for INLEO, especially in 2024, is going to be with the Leo subscriptions and everything. It's going to be more so driven towards your vision of treat your account like a business, build up your following, provide value to your audience. And we, as the INLEO project, will give you the tools to monetize, that business that you build, both in terms of attention. Nifty talked about the evergreen rewards. So your content obviously is driving in views now, and those views get you paid. So the more views you get, the more you earn. So that's entirely new for Hive in general. And then, obviously with the subscriptions and other tools that we build, it's going to be more like, being able to leverage your audience to get more ad revenue for yourself, and then also, build up a subscriber base. So I think that's going to be an important narrative in 2024 is how can I build my, business on the platform. Mitch, what's your take on 2023? How do you feel about everything that happened and where we're headed? I think you got to unmute on Spaces, Mitch. There you go. Yep, you're good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the last few weeks kind of been disengaged somewhat with just our IRL craziness. But it's been an interesting road in terms of progress with INLEO, and I mean, the summary is I think everything's set up really well for 2024 in regards to just the state of INLEO itself, all the different what I'm looking for, initiatives that are going. I think 2023 was a lot of building out initiatives, obviously, tons of UI work, right? A lot of painful UI experiences, so to speak, right? But I feel like for the most part, we're like 90% to the point of, all right, now it's the year of growth, so to speak. Still some things to be worked on, still some things I know you guys are working on, but that's how I look at 2023. I think 2023 was just like the, learning how to walk. A lot of new features, and then just the UI performance and experience. I think all of that was a lot of early growth, growing pains, which makes sense, even though it's been years since LeoFinance has been launched. It's also, again, it's new. Like INLEO is very, very different than what LeoFinance was to begin with. So that's what I look at 2023 as, a year of growing pains, and ideally setting us up for a awesome growth in 2024, which ideally is coincided with the bull market. We shall see if that happens, but that would also help the growth. So I think the punchline is 2023 positioned INLEO to essentially explode with growth if we do have a bull market. And it's going to grow without a bull market, but even we're positioned for explosive growth, when times are good, and that's where you want to be, right? You don't want to be building, so to speak, during the bull market. You want to be built already and ready to freaking go. So I think we're in good shape, and that's how I look at 2023.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's definitely been a hard year in terms of, development and growth. And I think what you said, that, learning how to walk has really been a driving narrative in 2023. I went through the other day, the LeoFinance account to look at the blog posts that we did throughout the year, starting in January of this year. And, it's just crazy to see how far we've come. I mean, back then, we're talking about, what the vision for LeoFinance is. We were still talking about, as of January, we're still talking about Project Blank, and it hadn't been released yet. And we're still talking about the new UI, which obviously, in hindsight now, we know it didn't launch until May. But back in January, we were still talking about it and our development of it. Project Blank was, obviously many years in the making to figure out the infrastructure and figure out how to, go about releasing it and then updating it. So, it is pretty crazy to see how far we've come from that standpoint in terms of, you know, the status of LeoFinance as of January last year, which, you know, was obviously a year ago now, is just so different. Eric, what's your take on INLEO, you know, throughout 2023, and, you know, how far we've come, and you know, the current status of things? I think he's still connecting to the space.
Yeah,
There
there
you
you
go.
go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's been this year was just like Mitch said. Wow, the echo here is huge. Just like Mitch said, 2023 was the preparation for what's coming. We cleaned house. We polished a lot of processes. Numbers were a big focus. We had a huge, ambitious goal. We'll talk about it later in the space, but even though we have grown a lot, I think there's still a lot of room to grow, and I think there's still a lot to learn from 2023. And in general, it's just, I mean, there's so much that we can tap into, and there's so much that we can do to grow that 2024 really has me excited in what all the things that we can achieve if we just manage to keep the momentum going in the community going, and pretty much just stay focused, because 2024 is going to be hectic. There's going to be a lot of distractors. There's going to be a lot of you know those who haven't been through a bull market. It's going to get crazy, really crazy. So we really have to capitalize on this and make the most out of however long the bull market is. But yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited. And 2023 was just the beginning. We went from 500 users to 1,600, almost 700 users in less than 7 months. So it's going to be amazing. I'm just really excited, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the user growth has been really amazing, and obviously with you spearheading Leo growth, you know, you have an intimate knowledge of the growth in the user base and the growth in activity in general. And obviously this was like kind of the first major year of, you know, Leo Power Up Day, and your expansion of that every single month, and we've seen that do really well um, throughout the past 12 months. Obviously, December being our biggest one. I think we had like 263 or 261 new, or not new, but unique Hive accounts power up Leo, at least 50 Leo, and somewhere on the order of like 190,000 Leo was powered up, which is pretty much equivalent to the inflation rate of Leo, which is around 200,000 a month. So pretty cool to see how much Leo has kind of gotten soaked up into Leo power. I think we're at, you know, 12 or 13 million Leo powered up or something like that, which is like 85% of the supply. So we've seen some cool growth in terms of Leo power, especially through Leo Power Up Day. And then obviously just with users in general and threads being created and posts being created. So yeah, I mean, we've seen and I'm looking at some of the old blog posts. So back in, you know, early 2023, we were talking about how the amount of threads was increasing. But we, you know, we were still at like 100 threads being created per day. So it was very nascent, very new. And things kind of just scaled up and got crazy from there. So everyone's given their take about INLEO in 2023. My take, and I won't make it too long, but my take, you know, obviously was that I had a vision for what we would turn Leo into, you know, Leo as LeoFinance. And obviously a big piece of that vision was Project Blank. Many of you know that Project Blank was originally going to be its own project. It was going to be separate from Leo, but like a sister project to it. So, you know, there was going to be a Blank token, and, you know, we were going to launch it and have it be, you know, coincide with Leo, and obviously be connected to it in various ways, but it was going to be its own thing. And there were a lot of different reasons for that. Obviously, a big one being LeoFinance is very niche, and It didn't make a lot of sense to create an open platform for, to kind of compete with Twitter in a sense, for microblogging, but do it under a financial umbrella. So, over time, we obviously just focused on the development, and we kind of took an approach of, when the time comes, we will know what to do in terms of branding and, the merging or release of a new platform. So the approach became kind of, let's just keep the development going. Let's keep focused on the technology part of it, and let the, branding and everything else kind of fall into place as time goes on. And I think that approach worked really well for us. Obviously, and I'm just going on the big highlights. There was a lot that happened in between this stuff, but moving from January to May we had the old UI, if you guys remember, and we released like a very primitive version of Threads on the old UI, the old LeoFinance.io. And this was back in like January. And the main thing there was to test the back end of Threads. Obviously we had a lot of work to do to figure out how do you allow people to microblog on the Hive blockchain, and really on any blockchain, because from what I've seen, most platforms still haven't fully figured that out, in terms of microblogging directly on a blockchain. So, we had to kind of figure all that out, and we put everything onto the old UI. And then obviously we're able to learn, with all the real-time data we collected. And then come May, we released finally, after, I don't know, 2 years of development, we finally released the Project Blank UI. And if you guys remember, if you go back to May, the UI was very, very bare bones. It didn't even allow you to do long form content to start. We built it mainly just for Threads, because obviously Project Blank was intended to be obviously its own thing, and it was just going to be Threads and Threads alone. But we released the UI, and then we slowly started to add to it. And not too long after that, we actually fully deprecated the old LeoFinance UI. And that was when we made the official decision to leave behind the idea of doing a separate project as Project Blank. And we decided to merge it all into Leo and make Leo the, the token and the focus for Project Blank, as we merge them together. And I think that narrative kind of was driven from, our work in other blockchains and trying to expand the project, but figure out how to make sure that there's value everywhere we expand. And I think a big lesson that we learned was, building things at the core level and making them all interconnected, as opposed to kind of reaching our hands out too far, and kind of, flying too close to the sun in certain respects. So I think we learned a lot throughout both 2022, because a lot of this happened in 2022. And then also through 2023, as we kind of unfolded Project Blank into what it is now. And then obviously, not too long ago, I don't remember the exact date. I think it was around October, September, October. We officially rebranded from LeoFinance to INLEO. And then obviously, we kind of announced a lot of this stuff at HiveFest, and we had a presentation at HiveFest, our booth at HiveFest. We also did that booth. Me and Mitch were in Vegas, talking about INLEO, and obviously back then it was LeoFinance, but we made some really good connections, and we got a lot of really good feedback from people that we've never gotten before, because that was kind of the first time we put LeoFinance out there in person, where people could kind of touch and interact with it and ask us questions and try to sign up and do all that stuff. So we learned a lot this year in general, by taking LeoFinance general and opening it up. We learned a lot from doing all that. And I think the progress we made from, a big piece for me when I was going through all of what we did this year was looking at the UI that we released on May 1st of this year to what we've got today, and seeing how far that's come is really incredible to me. It's really great. Like I really urge you, if you have the time, go back to the LeoFinance blog feed and go through and look for the post from around May of 2023, and look at what the UI was, and then compare it to what it is now. It's very different. There's been a lot of improvements. Obviously, we've released a ton of new features that really, I think, are firsts for Hive, and even for blockchain in general. Things like premium and polls, and then obviously Leo AI is something I've been testing in my obviously private dev version, but things like Leo AI and then the full text search and all these kind of really huge features that we've built on the back end and front end. Threadcasts have become obviously a huge piece of the UI. You guys listening live are in the Threadcast right now, and you've seen the evolution of Threadcasts, and now with Threadcast mode and all that good stuff. So I'm just overall really happy with the progress, both from a development side and from a user and growth side. John mentioned the docs and how he was reading it and his wife was reading it, and the docs finally got released. I was sitting on those docs for a long time. I deleted a lot of pages that I just didn't want in there anymore. Obviously added some new stuff and kind of refined the overall vision. The vision section of the docs, I think, really outlines where INLEO is headed. And then, a big piece of feedback we got, I mentioned when we were in person and then also in other aspects, has been around the tokenomics of Leo. So the tokenomics section of the docs really lays out the Leo tokenomics very clearly. And like I said, premium getting released, and then Leo subscriptions on the horizon. The vision for the Leo tokenomics has really evolved, and I'm very happy with the current status of things. I think we've been kind of in a good place right now in terms of Leo ads, and Taskmaster mentioned you see the Leo ads account growing in terms of how much Leo it has that it's buying from the market, and then obviously you've got the premium subscriptions buying Leo. And then you'll have Leo subscriptions with, author subscriptions buying more Leo. So really excited to see all these things kind of take shape, come together. Mitch mentioned that we went from, we kind of learned how to walk in 2023. And I really agree with that. I think it was a big moment for us to not only learn how to walk, but to actually like take all the things we had done. Cause yeah, we've been around for, 4 years now, but kind of take all those years of trial and error and culminate them into something that is a little bit more refined for the outer world, that we can kind of take to the world and start actually building and growing. So 2024 is going to be a big moment for us to take all the technical development and tokenomics and all the other pieces of the platform and actually put them out into the world and really see the users and the token grow in terms of adoption. So that's kind of what I'm excited to see. Our big overarching goal is going to be 10,000 monthly active users by December of 2024. So, it's going to be a big chase for us. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think we're more than capable of doing it. We saw the platform go from basically like 450 monthly active users to Eric mentioned around 1,700 for this month. So definitely been some huge growth throughout the year. And, we grew in that regard, despite having, a lot of UI issues, a lot of technical issues. I mean, you guys have seen the past couple of weeks have been kind of rough as we released, Leo Node and a lot of backend Leo Cache upgrades that obviously, like Tass said, it's, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 4 steps forward, 3 steps back. It's a constant back and forth motion as we kind of build up a lot of this infrastructure. And it's going to be that way for, the foreseeable future, just, being that we're such a new early stage platform in terms of technology. And, it's going to take time to refine our current technology and infrastructure as we kind of get to a more stable place. So now I think, Eric, should we start pulling some questions from the Threadcast and talk about, what the people want to hear? And then maybe at the end we can wrap up with, a little more vision on 2024.
Yeah, he actually wanted to mention something that so
Yes. So basically, one of the things that it's going to be, well, it's just maybe it doesn't come up in the questions, but it's maybe worth mentioning it. We are actually expanding the team, um, the business marketing side of the team, and there's going to be 10 more people that are going to be working with us, sort of a part-time kind of gig.
So when I tell you that it's going to get really aggressive in terms of
So
adoption,
when I adoption for those in the audience, it's because it will get to that point. It's going to get very, very aggressive, very, very fast. And we did have that big goal for the end of 2023 that, I mean, obviously the bear market, maybe our strategies, maybe the whole community in general, like there are many reasons. Mainly, I would say that it's just that we are not in an extremely growing, fast-paced space right now. 2023 has not been proven to be the year of adoption, but if we manage to get to 3x the amount of users in 2023, when basically every other not shiny new thing project didn't grow or even shrinked, we are 3 times bigger. So it's going to get very, very good, very, very fast. So yes, questions. I am reading from Esme Smith. INLEO Threadcast plus Twitter Space rally should continue in 2024. It's the launch pad to promote Leo so far. Yes, it is. Oh, there's a question here from Tokenized Society. Does INLEO team have any new products planned for 2024, or will the focus be into improving the current ones? What's the game plan?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, the focus for Leo, and I kind of alluded to this, has been cleaning up, a lot of the projects and bringing them all into kind of more of a centerfold. I think in 2021 and 2022, we were kind of heavily focused on expanding rapidly. I think that was kind of a general focus in the space was, everyone was looking to go multi-chain, and people were releasing all sorts of products and, new things to kind of play around with the, kind of budding industry that was developing around, DeFi, NFTs, Web3. But I think the narrative, not only for us, but actually just in general, and not even only in crypto, but even just in startups and in the big tech space as well, has been a big consolidation of things. So you're seeing big tech companies lay off, thousands of employees. You're seeing, fringe projects get deprecated, and you're seeing resources flow to things that are at the core business model of what a lot of these big companies, startups, and then obviously crypto startups are doing. And I think a very similar approach is being taken with Leo for the past, obviously for the past 6 to 12 months, and then definitely going forward, which is focus on the core product, focus on not only being efficient, but, generating cash flow and building a real business model around what we're doing. I think that's been a big narrative in the startup, VC world. Obviously, I spent some time there. That people are looking for companies that the old environment was, spend a ton of money, raise a ton of money, get to market as fast as you can, get a bunch of users. It doesn't matter if you're profitable. It doesn't matter, what kind of cash flow you generate. We just want to see growth at all costs. And I think that approach has changed radically, where startups are now in a world of have a lean team, raise enough money that you need to get to the next stage of your product, and then get as many users as you can, but don't do that in a way where it costs a ton of money, and then obviously monetize that user base as quickly as you can and build a real cash flow generating business. That's kind of the general narrative in startup world, in big tech, and then in crypto. And I think for us as well is, we want to grow, we want to build the user base, we want to build the technology, but we also want to focus on cash flow and sustainability in terms of our business model. So in terms of new products, the new products that you see from INLEO are all going to be, basically baked into the INLEO.io UI. So, I alluded to Leo subscriptions. That's going to be a new product that allows all of you guys as Hive account holders and authors and creators to launch your own kind of Patreon style or Substack style subscription service. So, your audience members can pay $4.99 a month, for example, and get access to like a premium feed of your content that only subscribers get access to. So there's going to be a lot of stuff like that. Obviously, Leo Ads has just been released, and the first distribution is going out January 1st. So that's been a big development in terms of the Evergreen smart contract and everything on that front. Leo AI, I think, is going to be one of the driving products of 2024. It's going to kind of seep, and you'll see this with AI in general, but especially on INLEO, it's going to kind of seep into different aspects of what you do on the UI, with or without you even realizing that it's there. So for example, when you search something up, it's going to leverage Leo AI to say, okay, show me the last, 25 interesting threads about Rune and, people's price predictions for the token. And then Leo AI is going to, obviously it's indexed all the threads and blog posts, in terms of like all of the text is literally, it's been trained on all that text. And then it'll say, okay, let me look at my knowledge stores and consider what this person is asking for. And then I'll spit out the answer of, the 25 most recent / most interesting, threads and blog posts about Rune, just as an example. So, Leo AI is gonna have a lot of different features like that. Or for example, I threaded about this, but imagine that you're like creating blog posts and, obviously with the Evergreen rewards model, you're looking to get more traffic and views on your content so that you can earn more Leo ad checks. You'll be able to ask Leo AI, my username is Taskmaster4450. I want to earn more rewards on my content through the Evergreen protocol. Can you analyze my, last 100 blog posts and tell me which ones got the most views and why you think they got the most views? And then look at my blog post that I'm working on right now in the publish page and tell me what I can fix in it to try to get more views. So you can ask it really complex questions like that, and get those complex answers back, that will ultimately, kind of allow you to improve your account, on a lot of different aspects. And then I kind of have been sharing some stuff I've been playing around with, like, my favorite example is I asked the AI engine, because as of right now, it's trained on all threads and it's trained in real time. So it's being trained. Every time you guys create a thread, the Leo AI is reading that thread and learning. So I asked it the other, couple of weeks ago, what is Leo from the perspective of the community? And it went through all the threads and it gave this, I'll share a link in the threadcast when I'm done talking, but it went through all the threads and it created this really interesting answer of what the Leo token is, but you can tell that it did it from the perspective of the user base. It didn't just give a generic answer of Leo is a token built on the Hive blockchain. That's not the answer it gave. And I'll share what its exact answer was, but it gave a very like ground level perspective of what Leo is, as if it was written by a community member. So some really cool stuff like that is kind of on the horizon. I think Leo AI is going to be, a big Project Blank has been a driving narrative for Leo for a long time. And I think Leo AI is going to be kind of a next narrative for us.
Yeah, and I've been reading a lot about narratives and what makes a company or a project popular and what makes other people talk about the project on X, on Instagram, on TikTok. What really drives the adoption, especially in this information overflow kind of space that we live in with crypto. And one thing is having use cases, and one thing is having a strong community, and the other one is letting people know that we exist. So I do think that this is going to be like now that we have. I feel like we went through the features and innovation stage in 2023, and 2024 is going to be a lot about just um, strengthening that what happened in 2023. So we just need to let people know that we exist and that we are a solid option for people to build their brand, to monetize their content, etc. task, Cat. John, if you want to get questions from the threadcast, just let me know. I saw Mr. Hive. He's got a question. According to Carl, he just mentioned the unreleased projects in Leo has in hand, and to an extent, and from my thoughts, I think it will take some time. Is there a guarantee that we can get them all done in 2024?
I didn't catch the first part. Which projects was he asking about?
Oh no, just in general. So so all of the unreleased features in Leo, and to an extent, from my thoughts, will there be a guarantee that all of these new things that you have in store for the platform, that they get done by 2024? I think this aligns a little bit with the moving roadmap.
Yeah, in the docs that we've been talking about, I put a roadmap section in there, and I kind of talked on one of our AMAs about my philosophy behind that roadmap, and that it's a little bit of a moving target, and I think in a good way. I think we gave ourselves room to decide in real time what's important and what isn't important, and how to approach priorities. So I, I think he's looking for some kind of like, oh, you're saying we're going to have things like Leo AI and all this stuff. Is there a guarantee on, when those things will get released, essentially, is my take on the question. But, I think if you look at that roadmap, you're going to see, and my explanation of it is that it is a compass. It's not an actual roadmap. So, I mean, it would have been better to call it a compass. It would have been better to call it a compass than a map, but obviously that doesn't have the same kind of ring to it. So the compass, philosophy behind it is look at that roadmap and you'll see in broad strokes, you'll see the direction that Leo's heading. You'll see, Leo AI and premium and Leo subscriptions, and evergreen rewards and, Leo promotions. And you'll see the big key pieces of, where we're headed. But you're not going to see, the intricate details of like on October 10th, 2024, we're going to release Leo AI. Some projects do that, and we've tried doing that in the past as well. But I like to take a very adaptive approach to development. As you develop things, the technicalities of things, as well as like the actual, implementations, they all change in real time. And the vision changes in real time as well. So I personally like having the wiggle room to say, directionally, these are the things we're doing, but on the way there, things are going to change. The vision's going to change. The design of things is going to change. So that's my approach. Yeah, I mean, Eric is the power up man, but what's your take on that, Eric?
Okay, so here's the thing, and it's going to be controversial. I was actually thinking of removing some of the incentives for Leo Power Update. So here's a little bit of insight for the people in the audience, for the community members, the lives that make the what LeoFinance and INLEO is. So in 2022 was mainly about getting the house aligned, to get community members who think the same way that Cal, that in Leo, that I think, like trying to find those hardcore users that we are, um, that we're looking to make the core community. So we are 1,700 users, and when we are 100,000, we are going to need these 1,500 people to actually become part of some sort of like these 1,500 ambassadors or power users or hardcores that were able to know about Leo or to grow with Leo, since we were just a 500 user community. So 2022 was all about like this cohesive, uh I don't want to say family because that sounds like corporate bullshit, but like being close, growing together, seeing how in Leo went from being a small platform to a 100,000 user platform with a token that was $1, then 3 cents, then it's 6 cents, and then probably will be 30 cents, I don't know, 50 cents, whatever. But like all of this growth. Then 2023 was all about showing that growth to the outside and seeing how what we truly are, and the response from the people from the outside. A lot of people now know about Leo. They are coming, they are staying. That's why we have been 1,600 users for 4 months in a row. So yes, one might think that we kind of plateaued. I would say we are just consolidating before we take the next big leap to 2,000. But 2024, I see it, and this is just my idea. It's just the year where all of these community members and this strong alliance then that we built for years is now doing things because they are invested, they like the platform, they feel part of the platform, they have Leo power, they saw how we were with the legacy UI to the new UI. So now we have this kind of, everyone feels part of the inner circle or the core part of INLEO, and now we are ready to bring in more users. So even if we remove all of those rewards and all of those incentives, people will, like Hal says, like Taskmaster says, they do power up because they know it's good for InLeo, for them, for ad revenue, for everything. So of course, I don't think we're gonna remove those incentives, but I was considering, just because I don't think they are needed, and then we could use all of those incentives to do something else. So now we have Leo Power Up Day on the at the middle of the month, but we could have something else at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month, and then try to leverage all of these whales that are chipping in delegations to the community. Well, now let's build something else. Leo Power Update can actually sustain itself, because I even did some tests where I didn't even do an official announcement, and it was the community, the ones that took it over themselves. They made a post, they made it happen, and I think it was 2 times, and those 2 times we actually broke some sort of record. I think one of them was in users, and the other one was in amount of Leo powered up. So I think we are ready to actually have more things in Leo, not just the Leo Power Update once a month, and that's it. Maybe we could have, I don't know, live stream week or finance February. I don't know, something like that. But that being said, we are going to answer the question. We are going to, yes, probably play around with the incentives. There might be something different, might be something bigger, something with a different approach. I don't know. But that being said, Nifty, I know you're driving, but I don't think you shared what you would like to hear, what you would like to see, and where would you like to in Leo moving forward in 2024. Like, what for you, if you were able to just uh, click a button and say, I want this done, what would you want to see? And for those in the threadcast, why don't you just put there in the threadcast what you would like to see developed, just so that the team is aware of your wants and needs. Yes, let's go, Nifty. I would actually like to know what Mitch. You have this. You're a businessman. You know that everything is driven by money. Well, not everything, but like business decisions and all of this. So with your business mindset, and we will go back to questions in a second, but I do really want to hear about Mitch. So if you were treating this as a real estate move or business move, what would you change or do or want to see in 2024 for INLEO?
Yeah. Thanks, Mitch. Yeah, I don't know if Eric wants to get into some more of the detailed stuff behind it, but at a high, yeah, like a high level, we've onboarded 2 influencers from X, kind of in the past like month and a half. So they've got, we built kind of a cool system that we're kind of trialing with them, and refining before we take it to some other influencers. But our goal this year is to get, somewhere around like 5 to 10 different X influencers. And our approach with them is kind of interesting. We are having them do threadcasts, and they do X spaces once a week. So they're doing threadcasts once a week with their X spaces. And then we're giving them, like $50 worth of crypto, for example, to like give away to people who come from X, sign up to INLEO, and then engage in their threadcast. So this has been kind of a cool way for us to test, bringing people from X to INLEO, but bringing them over. And I think this is a good strategy for onboarding, is bringing them over with like a very specific goal in mind, which is, I'm going to get on this platform so I can put answers into this threadcast and live chat with this influencer who I normally chat with every week. It kind of gives them like a really specific thing to do, as opposed to like, here's a whole new platform, join it and start doing stuff on it. So, we're kind of giving them a more like, join INLEO so that you can live chat with this influencer that you follow every week. And they do that. And then whether or not they stay after the threadcast and like explore the UI is up to them. But then the influencer is doing that for, and our contracts with influencers are, I think, 3 months long. So, that gives you like 12 different opportunities to get those audience members back into INLEO. And then eventually the idea is they kind of slowly get more and more familiar with the UI, how it all works. Obviously, then we, as the Leo team, are in the threadcast upvoting their replies, and they're earning crypto. And then they see that they're earning, 30 cents for replying, to the threadcast. And then, when they come back every week, they see that their account starts to grow. And then they kind of get more and more enveloped in that direction. So I think that's going to be a big piece of onboarding in terms of what we're doing with the DHF and marketing initiatives. And then there's been a couple other ones. I know we're working with Woo, the wrestling company on Hive, to kind of expand and do some marketing into their arena, pun intended. And then some LPUD initiatives, getting Hive communities involved. And then I know Eric's been talking to non-Hive, like other crypto communities and NFT communities, and then working to get them community pages set up. Eric, is there any other, specifics on the marketing front that you want to mention, related to what we're doing with the DHF and stuff like that?
Yes, just muted from everywhere. So basically, yes, the thing is, the space changes so fast, and what worked in 2020 and 2021, and the strategies that made a lot of projects grow so much in 2022, and even though the social fire aspect of 2023, all of the things they did, like the it's not a problem, but the situation that competing platforms or similar platforms did on X and TikTok as well, was that they just came kind of stained or put in a bad light the concept of tokenized social media. So we are, what worked 6 months ago is not going to work right now. So what I've been doing for the past 2 months is just trying to dive deep into the meta and see what can actually work, because it would be pretty easy. I actually have contacts already that for $3,000 they can just tweet something or make a huge thread about INLEO in their X account and reach to 50,000 users, 20,000 users, because they have hundreds of thousands of users. And then we would get enough adoption to get to probably 20,000 users. But the problem is that all of these users will come, stay for a couple of weeks, earn a little bit of rewards and they will not stay. So yes, the marketing has to be done a little bit carefully because the crypto space in general, it's very short term minded. And the users are pretty much just looking for the next shiny thing. And we saw it in the past 4 months with two social fi oriented platforms that pretty much went ballistic, exploded in terms of users, and right now nobody's talking about them. And we don't really want that about INLEO. We don't really want that about. We know Hive is better than that. I mean, Leo is better than that. So even though it would be amazing to see 10,000 users by February, we have to do it very sustainable, and that retention actually works. So the message that we want to give out has to be very assertive. And this is also why John Olson, marketing expert, Beatles Mafia superstar fan, and Cryptomaniac podcaster, has joined the team on a part-time basis to actually help us put the message out there in a consistent way so that anyone who hears about INLEO, they are not just about content monetization or immutability or brand building. No, it has to be consistent that we are actually planning on fully deploying the video side of INLEO in terms of Instagram, short videos on YouTube, TikTok, videos on X. And also, Cal and I have been working a lot with the message that we want to put out on X from the main account, from the official account. And as well, you have seen us, both me and Cal, Nifty, a couple of other ambassadors, team members. We are growing out our presence on X. This is not something done in a matter of weeks. It's actually a grind that takes months. But when we are ready, we are just going to start doing the X marketing in a way that our personal accounts will get us to just reach 10,000 people every day for a matter of 2 weeks, pay some advertisement, and then have a big punch. But once we have that cohesive message, and also once we are ready in terms of UI, because right now we faced a few issues two months ago when we were trying to onboard an influencer. We found out about another bug 2 weeks ago when we tried to onboard another influencer as well. So all of this is just, we are very much preparing so that 2024, anything that we do in terms of marketing actually retains the user. Because if they come and see something they don't like or they experience a bug that they cannot go through, um, they are not going to come back. So I don't know if that answers the question. I think I ranted a lot.
Yeah, it is. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think yeah, thanks, Mitch. And I think Eric, I think we could wrap also just in general. So I don't know if anyone has some closing words, but yeah, thanks, Mitch, for coming on and appreciate you. Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense in the future. But I think for now and for the foreseeable future, it makes sense to kind of be synergistic with X spaces as opposed to compete with it. Um, and that's a good way for us to kind of bring people over. Sweet. Thanks, Mitch. Yeah, happy New Year. See ya. Yeah, I think we could just maybe everyone get their last words in, what you're excited for 2024. It doesn't even have to just be INLEO, but it could just be crypto or life. And we'll say our happy New Year's and then jump off. Whoever wants to start can go ahead. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Um, Taskmaster, you want to jump in? He may be AFK. Otherwise, Nifty. What's
Yeah, I'm
your
here.
oh wait,
Yeah, I'm here.
here we go.
Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of good stuff said. What I want to see is more business mindset brought to the table. Unfortunately, a lot of what I heard here, bull market is not a business term. That's a market term. And people say, Mitch was saying about things exploding. And yes, excitement does explode. But if you look at Amazon, they grew through bull markets, grew through bear markets. That's what businesses do, or successful businesses. Same with Google. They grew through the bear and they grew through the bull. So I think that's what Leo needs to focus upon is, and the people on Leo need to focus upon being more business oriented. Yes, it's a social platform, but there's also money on the line. And as was said, if you hold the Leo token, you have stake in the value of this network. And the job is to build the value of the network. And that job is not on Cal. That job is not on Django. That job is not on Eric. That job is not on the developers behind the scenes. That job is on all of us. And to do that, yes, marketing is important. But there was a CTT episode about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, where Lord Butterfly basically summed it all up. And he said, I get my news from X because broadcast media is 12 hours behind. Now that makes sense. He's absolutely correct. The problem is how come he doesn't get his news from High? Because the news isn't on High. The information's not there. There's stuff that we don't have that should be there that fosters engagement. So what happens if all the marketing in the world brings over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, but everybody has to run back to X to find out what the hell's going on? And it's the same thing with information, entertainment, anything you can think of. Is it located on Leo? If not, what's going to happen? All these initiatives may bring people over. They'll be gone in a day. Because you know what? The second I need to find out the next dumb thing Donald Trump said, or the next dumb thing Joe Biden said, or the score of the Laker game, I have to leave. When I have to go and find out the price of my crypto, I have to leave, typically. So these are things that I think all of us need to work on as a community, as business holders, as stakeholders in Leo, is to make sure the information, not only is engagement, hi, how you doing? Great to see you here. To make sure the information is on threads, is on chain for people to see, because that's what's going to keep them here. That's what's going to have the retention. If somebody can come to INLEO and find out the stuff they're looking for on a daily basis, in addition to the social side, that's where the wins come, regardless of the market. Bull, bear, it doesn't matter. This is business building 101. This is business retention 101. And this doesn't fall to Cal. This doesn't fall to Eric. This doesn't fall to Django, because they can't do it. This falls to the rest of us. So every time you put up a picture of your dinner, which is perfectly acceptable, we need that type of stuff. We need memes. We need all of that stuff. But also, we also have a responsibility to start thinking about, how can I make my threads? How can I make my posts more valuable? And the final thing I will leave off with is there's an added layer to this. And Cal mentioned it, Leo AI. Everything we post on threads, and from what he was saying, everything we post on blog posts eventually will be feeding into the AI. So what are you posting that is helping the AI to learn? Tokenize wants to program the AI to believe that he is the greatest. Okay, well, that's one thing to do. But if we start to think about this and make sure we're putting stuff up that people engage with, and also that helps Leo AI in the future spit out better answers of what is the capital of Missouri, or where is the Great Wall of China located. And again, you don't have to put up 60 posts or 60 threads like this a day, but once in a while, drop something that is a little bit more worthwhile. And that's part of what my motivation is with Leo Glossary, Music on Leo. Now I've started getting into George Carlin and Johnny Carson comedy sketches, stuff like that. Give stuff for people to use. And quite frankly, I can't stress it enough. This is on the community. So any failure is not on the project team, it's on the community. Yes, UI issues, that's a project team. Marketing, that's a project team for the most part. But what's here when people arrive here, that's up to us. Thanks.
Yeah, love that take. Yeah, it's not just about, what the team can do. It's about what the community can come together and do. And, I think that's a big narrative for us as a team, is we're focused on building the tools for you guys, and then how you guys go out into the world and use them to build, the Leo token and the INLEO platform is really, what counts at the end of the day. Nifty, what's your end of year take as we sign off sign off and wrap up. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Thanks, Nifty. Thanks for all you do for the team as well. You have one of the hardest roles, I think, on the whole team, which is, to be obviously, the spearhead of tech support, and you're kind of the plaything that people get to slap around when they're unhappy with how things are going. So we all appreciate you and everything you do. Eric. Yeah, of course. Eric, you want to give us your end of 2023, beginning of 2024 sign off take?
I'm not going to speak about INLEO or Hive because I already spoke a lot about it, about us. But I do want to say I expect 2024 to be, dude, I don't even want 100x. I just need a 10x to keep doing what I'm doing for fun instead of thinking, oh yeah, what's going to happen in 10 years, whatever, blah blah blah. So I mean, the great thing, and I told you this, Cal, when I started working with you, with Leo and all, that I actually wanted to work here because I believe in the foundations and I believe in the vision. And yes, of course, everyone wants to grow their crypto portfolio, but at the same time, it's amazing to just be working and being invested in a company that you work in because you actually are able to make a bigger difference. But make no mistake, for those listening, you are way more important than the team. If the team goes away and the community stays, you guys can keep INLEO working, and you guys can keep the boat afloat, so to speak. So I would love to see in 2024 more of what we saw in 2023. You guys spearheaded so many things. You kept the community going, and we are one of the biggest communities in crypto out there. We are 1,600, which probably we are like 1,000 who are hardcore, who are people who come every single day to the platform to do things, to engage, to keep making friends, to nurture the relationships with other people. So I just want to see more of that. And in the end, my bags, your bags, everyone's bags during the bull markets are just gonna, they will follow a natural flow. So yeah, I just need a 10x, man. I just want my 10x to be able to do it Leo for fun. But yeah, it's gonna be a great year. And this one was tiresome, but very, very gratifying. So I expect more of that in 2024.
Yeah, it's definitely been a hard 2023, but it's also been a good 2023. It's, we've, more than tripled the user base. And, like I alluded to at the beginning, we made a lot of progress in terms of technology and development and infrastructure. And, Mitch put it in a great way that we learned how to walk. But yeah, I mean, we really put in the key pieces we needed to really take all of what we're doing to the next level. Like I keep saying, if you haven't seen the docs yet, I'd highly recommend checking them out. and kind of looking into the vision and seeing where we're headed and what we're aiming to achieve with INLEO. I think it's good, you know, and to kind of put a neat bow on what everyone has kind of said in their wrap ups. You know, we all have our own kind of vision for INLEO, but then we also have a collective vision for INLEO and what you can do as a community member, as a Leo power holder, as a content creator, or as a user, or all of the above, which I think most of us are, is, you know, take your vision and take the collective vision and think every day about what you can do to push both forward. You know, and, you know, Nifty put it in a great way, about, you know, ask not what the product can do for you, but what you can do for the product. I think that's awesome. And then also, you know, obviously reminds me of the Gandhi quote, to be the change you want to see in the world. So, you know, you want to see INLEO succeed, you want to see the platform grow, you want to see Leo AI trained on good data, and like Taskmaster said, you want to see high quality news on the platform. That stuff only happens when, you know, individuals in the community step up to the plate and put forward what they want to see on the platform. So if you want to see more memes on the platform, then you should be spearheading, you know, initiatives to make that happen. If you want to see more, you know, crypto news on the platform, you can spearhead that and make it happen. And, you know, that's what really attracted me to this blockchain in the first place. You know, I think it was probably almost 8 years ago at this point, was that, you know, you can have a real impact, and what you do on a daily basis actually matters, you know, in terms of your own life, because obviously you're getting rewarded, but then also in terms of the platform as a whole. You know, when you're on X, if you're putting out information, yeah, you can grow your account and grow your following, but, you know, your impact is a lot smaller. You're in a much bigger, you know, ocean. You're just kind of dropping droplets in the ocean. But, you know, INLEO is tiny. We're like a little pond. You know, we might even just be like a little puddle at this point on the sidewalk. So, you know, when you drop a drop in this little puddle, you make a huge impact and you make a big splash. So, you know, those are my kind of closing words, that, you know, be the change you want to see, and really put your foot forward on your vision and also the collective vision, and let's make it happen. You know, we'll keep building. The team isn't going anywhere. I've kind of laid out my vision for the next, you know, 10, 15 years. You know, we're not going anywhere, and we're going to keep building these tools. So, what I love to see on a daily basis is I love to see you guys using the tools and finding unique ways to leverage them, both for your personal well-being and then also for, you know, the well-being of the platform. So, thanks to everybody who joined the speaker panel. Appreciate you guys making the time for this at the end of the year. I know it's been kind of busy with the holidays, and then obviously New Year's in 2 days. So thanks for coming on. Thanks to the audience for joining us. Eric, do you want to sign us out? I think you're muted on Zoom and Spaces. Oh, there we go.
Good.
You're good now. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry, I got a call. But yeah, I lost my train of thought, but all I can tell you is, if you were here in 2022, if you were here in 2023, 2024 is going to be amazing for those who were here from the start. That doesn't mean that we won't take care of the new users, but if you were here to see us grow and see us get to the kind of platform and product that we want to get to, you're going to be pretty satisfied with the results. You know that we have the revenue models. You know that we have the business models, the marketing models. We're pretty much like working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we are gonna deliver, and thank you all for believing in us. So yeah, that's basically it from me, Cal.
Definitely. Sweet. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for joining and speaking. Love to have you guys here, and excited to see what we achieve in 2024. So happy New Year, and see you guys in the new year. See ya.